going on, everybody? Krusty Old Crow here to do a quick review on the retro card Cobra Commander, that vac metal helmeted one that you've all been waiting for. We all said this is going to be the coolest one, or did we? I don't know. I've lost track of what we've said about what Cobra Commander. You know, it's an ever-changing environment in this toy collecting area. You know, and as an adult collector over 50. I'm kind of finding it a bit like high school lately. People are clicking up. You're a classified collector. That's the same as being a jock or a nerd or something. It's just it stereotypes you into one spot. People only think one thing of your collection, and that's you're some sort of sellout or a hack. They don't even bother asking like what you also collect. They just, when you say that your primary collection is classified because it's available and it's nostalgic and you had that when you were a kid, all those other reasons, all they hear is sell it. Well, Hasbro doesn't make it very easy when they constantly make a lot of reprints of certain characters. And, you know, if I'm going to stick with that high school theme, well, then I have to sit there and say, what else did I expect from high school besides clicking up in these stereotypes? Well, one of the things I know that has to happen in high school is there has to be a prom, and then somebody had to be named prom queen and prom king. And I'm here to show you today, Cobra Commander, he's going to be your prom king for now. Anyways, let's get on with this review. And don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy these. See ya. And so it wouldn't be a tactical perspective toy review if I didn't start with the G.I. Joe file card, always provided for our characters. And they say, this fanatical leader rules with an iron fist. He demands total loyalty and allegiance. His main battle plan for world control relies on revolution and chaos. His role as enemy leader, his primary specialty is intelligence, secondary ordnance, experimental weaponry, and his birthplace is classified. And as you can see, he's not the first Cobra Commander we have, but even with that vac mask, he might be the coolest. Or is he? I don't know. Anyways, one of the things I wanted to draw attention to is we'll start with the kit loadout for this one. And you will notice, if you were one of the lucky ones that managed to have a life that allowed you to buy into the HasLab Hiss project, you won't see much differences between this buck and the one provided for the Mickey Mouse Cobra Commander variant, which you see on the right in this video. What you will see a difference is one particular piece of kit that was added to the Hiss Tank variant versus what we're getting in the retro line. And I have a bit of an issue with it. I feel like the globe wrapped in snake was a nice piece of kit that should have been made available to the retro line, as it is a core piece of the character's storytelling. And really, it sits in the hand that you see his left hand is outfitted right now, that open palm. I feel the exclusion of this was a mistake, and it could have fit in for the price point they wanted it to. But overall, what you get is three sets of hands, a bayonet, a hairdryer gun, like you see mounted on the back, and the backpack that it's mounted on. You also get the vac metal helmet, which everybody is so enthused about. And so we'll start the review at the head to toe. Because I'm not overly impressed with the accessories. They're just the bare minimum and the standard. There's nothing impressive about the accessories for this this superior commander of the Cobra Legions that is so iconic. But they make that up with the helmet. The helmet with the traditional white stripe from the old cartoons and the very reflective vac metal, which God, wouldn't it be nice to see Vipers start to come out with this and more things come out with this. I'm afraid to touch it and leave a thumbprint, that's for sure. But here he is using one of his pointy hands to show you. This is the best white paint you're going to get on my body today. Here on the helmet. And it's also the nicest feature on my body today is the helmet. In fact, the only thing worth talking about is the helmet. The gun is the same gun you had when you were a little kid. It's the hairdryer gun. It's an iconic Cobra laser, and I do like it. It's got its place. The backpack barely fits into the back peg and leaves a massive gap there, but that's something I'll heat in. But that head will always be the top attention. Now, if you work your way down to the head, they haven't skimped out on paint, guys. You have a couple of different tones of blues here. You've got some red, some silver, some black, and some white. And of all those colors, you will see that no one has a bigger problem until we get to the white. So that blue collared shirt with the rank insignias on the neck. Overall articulation for this buck is beautiful. You can do all the butterfly posing as I'm showing you in some of these photos. But the uniform is no different than what we saw with the His Tank Cobra Commander provided, if you've seen that, except that now his logo does not have a Mickey Mouse head. It's got a proper Cobra. I do find that dark red hard to see against that darker blue. But that's a mild exception. I'm still happy overall with the color selection. What I'm not happy with is just that white band of paint, which I'll talk about in a bit. So you can see he's got lots of good bend and articulation. You can get him in the key poses. I like the humble uniform that he wears. I love his gloves. His gloves are perfect for the character. Simple, long, gauntlet-like gloves. And he's not wearing a whole lot of kit. He's reflective well of his status. And you'll notice that not having all that kit really lets you get him into some good bendy poses and storytelling, as do those extra hands, which I do minimize as not surprising, but very necessary for the expressions that Cobra Commander has been known throughout the years to be reflective of. You know, the pumping the fist in rage, the finger of accusation, things like that. So here we have him just in that standard. I'm in a lot of trouble if I got to pull out my pistol and knife and I'm the Cobra Commander. Not much I'm going to use. Let's change that view. So here's the worst case situation for him in a fisticuff match, and you can see he's not the best fighter. He's a bit shaky, isn't he? But why he wouldn't pull a gun? I did this one just so you can see those fisticuff hands. And you know, he's a well enough figure. I need the base only because I put this thing on a spindle, and I'm not even using the base they provided because it doesn't provide the right balance. But if it weren't for the spindle, this figure, like without the spindle turning it, I could stand this figure very much on its own with its own balance and not need a base for the most part. It's a well-balanced buck. You got the color broken up well with that black breaking up the torso, and then the white as well breaking up the torso. A little center spot of red on the backpack where the Cobra emblem is, same as the silver on that backpack, but also red on that torso where the emblem is. That white we'll get to, but you can follow another color breakup with that red stripe coming down that leg, and even the black sheath breaks it up. We're going to talk about that white now. Now, the white is such a chalky color to play with, and it'll stand out against all other colors except maybe yellow and beige when there's a mistake. And I saw plenty of mistakes on my Cobra Commander buck, unfortunately. The amount of paint mishap around this belt, particularly over the top ridge of the belt, you can really see the blue and the white broken up poorly on that. And then for some reason I had a bit of white paint splatter or chipped blue that came out so light that it looked white, and that drew my eye right there in the elbow where he's pointing his bayonet. It was just a little flaw feature that drew my eye away. It was like a blemish, like when you've got a perfect face in high school but you see that one pimple show up on prom night right on the tip of your nose. That's what that felt like. So our prom king had a blemish, and I had to curve his arms a lot to hide that blemish so his date wouldn't notice. Moving on, we've got that hand that I said really needs to have a globe and a snake in it, doesn't it, guys? I do feel the kit shortages cost this character, and there's a host of other kit that you can put with this guy. Like, why not a scepter or binos, or maybe scepter and cape, or even lima bean and extra hooded head. Just kidding, we'll never get that. But I'm just saying, there was at least one extra piece of kit they could have tossed in to tell the story of Cobra Commander. His other figures all had something iconic about them as far as that accessory. This seems rather plain Jane and dial, phoned in more than anything. What an old term that is, phoned in. But anyways, yeah, his hand remains absent. He is staring at the emptiness of his hand. But at least that hand shows up really nicely in that nice vac helmet, which of course is the only real feature worth paying attention to, guys, as I see it. And so that's going to sum it up for this review. If I were to give this thing a attack grade, I would just have to go with a 4. He looks like a commander. He's equipped poorly like a commander. He looks pretty unarmored and defenseless like a vulnerable target. On a play grade, I have to give it a 3.5. There's stuff they could have gotten in there, but
That posable buck is really what pulls it up from a 3.5, because the kit is very limited. When it comes to the je ne sais quoi factor, that vac helmet makes things good. We'll give that a 4 at best. And so for a regular off-the-shelf direct edition, standard priced retro card, you're getting your value's worth, but like I said, I had hoped for more. But don't worry, there'll be more Cobra Commanders coming. We all know the ones you want are the ones they're holding off on to do right. Or maybe possibly never do it all. But be fearful of the ones you don't want. That could still show nothing's off the table. And if you're wondering, wait a second, where have I seen this guy before? Remember, nothing is off the table. This is where Kamakura came into light. So one of the ways Kamakura came into light, but it can hit everything, guys. So maybe be thankful that the VAC Retro Commander has come. Enjoy your prom. Dance, little monkeys, dance. Because this one, we're done. Have a good one. Thanks for coming by, and we'll see you again on the Tactical Perspective.